And now in this stage, Abdulaziz, we're going to discuss the first type of reading an IELTS exam, and this is academic module. We start with the type number one, which is short answer questions. Can you just have a quick read and a small discussion over it? Go on, please.
These questions are often called comprehension questions, and they are very common in English classrooms all over the world. Most students have answered these questions of before, and for this reason, most students tend to do quite well with them. Here are the skills tested for these types of questions.
Let me ask you a question, Abdulaziz. This type of general question that you have a small passage and then you have questions after them, do you find them difficult or easy to do in your usual exams in the school?
It's probably mostly done before, so it's not that difficult.
Great, and that's what I believe too. So this is passed by most students passed this experience before, and they have very good experience regarding answering these types of questions. Let's move on to the other side here and see what these skills that will be tested in this time. The ability to skim the passage quickly and understand the overall meaning. Can you tell me, Abdulaziz, what does it mean, skim?
To write it like very fast, to read the passage very fast in a quick way.
Yeah, and to get the main idea of
Ideas.
it quickly. Bravo, excellent. This is the first skill that you need to master in the reading part. The second one is ability to scan for specific information. So can you tell me about scanning here? What does it mean?
To like scan the passage very fast and to know things that uh, you should know, like main things.
Yeah, to allocate a certain information. For example, to this, it can be a date, right? It can be a name of a city, right? It can be a name of a person, right? All this based on scanning. And this is one of the easiest questions that you pass by or easiest skill that you can use to achieve your goal and answer the questions easily and properly. The next point, understanding the question being asked. What does he mean here by understanding the question being asked? Let me elaborate here a little bit, Abdulaziz. In order for you to understand the question being asked to you, it's very careful. It's very important, of great importance, to read the question carefully. And when I say read here, some people misunderstand this saying. When I say read, it doesn't mean read, it means study, it means analyze. So you need to read every single bit of the question, underlining the key words of the question and elaborating them using your own words. And why is that? Because basically 90% of your answer will be based on analyzing, understanding the question. If the question asks you to use skimming, so you will be able to skim and get the main idea. If the question asks you to allocate a certain detail, so definitely you will go for the scanning one. And then if the reading or if the question asks you to allocate something very specific and very detailed infos, so reading for details will be very beneficial to allocate in that part. And that's what he means by here understanding what's been the question asking here is to understand what each word in the question wants you to do. Most importantly is to read the instructions very carefully and underline each single important word in the instructions. For example, if it tells you to write one word only from the text, so I must underline one word and I put the word or the number one above it. Why? Because in order, when I deal with the exam, I'll be very fast trying to understand what's in there. So I won't have that time to read the instructions. So using these signs or numbers or summary or annotations above the question will help me a lot to allocate what I'm searching for quickly and correctly. The last point here is thinking of possible synonyms and the paraphrases of keywords. What does he mean here, Abdulaziz?
when you say to think about the synonyms and paraphrases, to see what is the keyword that will give you the right thing about the sentence or the right meaning.
Bravo. Excellent. Yes, that's very true. In other words, or to give more elaboration into that and shed some light on this point, it's very important to find the synonym of the word in the question itself. So, for example, he will say, the thin boy met the man on the station. So, the thin, you will not find the word thin in the passage. However, you can find other words like for example, the thinny boy or the that. Do you have any other synonyms for the word thin? For example, what else? Other meanings can be here for the word thin that you need to find in the passage, but you will not find the same word and paraphrases. It might not be the synonym exactly a certain word, but might be some explanation to it, paraphrase to it for the keywords. So your key thing here, the key skill that you will need is that you need to find two things, the synonym and the paraphrases. Of what? Ask yourself as a student, of what? And put a question mark here of the keywords. And what does it mean, the keywords? The important words in the questions and in the sentences. Thank you so much, Abdulaziz. This is great explanation from you here, my son. The most common problem students face in that type of questions, the comprehension and short questions in this part, is these ones. Number one, lack of awareness of synonym and paraphrases. What do you think this means, Ya Abdulaziz?
Uh, to be aware of paraphrasing and synonyms.
Yes,
And
exactly. But he has a problem is lacking. He
yeah, lack,
lacks.
yeah, so don't any
He doesn't know,
have a,
right?
yeah,
So he
doesn't
doesn't
know.
know. Yeah, he doesn't know. And if you don't know, what is this gonna cause to you? A lot of problem. You won't be able
Yes.
to spot the answer simply like that
Mhm.
because you don't know the words, you don't know the synonyms, and apparently you don't know the paraphrasing. So when you are trying to allocate the proper answer in the passage, you won't be able to find them, right? Good. And if someone of the question asks you to write two words and simply you wrote three, this is another problem that most students face, which is going over the word limit. The question asks you to write one word. So please, Ya Abdulaziz, write only one word. If it asks for two or three, then go and write them exactly as they are, no more than that. The third problem that the students really face here is reading every single word instead of skimming and scanning. Most students, Ya Abdulaziz, tend to try to understand, to read like they are in high school. No, this is different. This exam is different. Don't keep reading word by word. In some stage, yes, you will, but not in all types of the questions. Some questions, a big percentage of them, will ask you to give the meaning, to give the main idea, or to scan and locate a certain information. So, in order to read word by word, you're wasting your time. And what did we say in the beginning, Abdulaziz? That the time is what?
Time's running.
The time is our enemy, right?
Yes.
So the biggest enemy to you is the time. The last one here is that some students get panicked when they see a word that they don't know. So whenever you have a blocking word, what do we need to do, Abdulaziz? How are we going to deal with it?
We need to try to read the sentence and know the meaning of the word, or if we cannot know it, we should leave it and don't have much time with this word.
Exactly. Bravo. We are not gonna waste lots of time on it.
Mhm.
Yes, stop wasting time. Move on quickly. But you have some strategies. We call it the word attack skills. You need to read what's before and what's after, right? This is the first strategy. The second strategy is try to get this word into origin. What is the origin of the word? That means you need to get rid of the affixes. And what are the affixes? We have the prefix and we have the suffix. Prefix is the extra letter that comes at the beginning of the word and change its meaning. The same thing applies to the suffix, but they are the letter that come at the end of the word and change its meanings. So if we want to get the word into its origin form or its root, we need to get rid of these affixes, the prefix and the suffix. And that way we'll have a very pure and clear word in front of us in order to be able to deal with this. Now, do you face any of these problems, Abdulaziz?
Uh, Sometimes you face problems as every person. If you face, you should like practice and have a concentrate on these problems to get better on it.
Thank you so much, Abdulaziz. This is
No problem.
really excellent of you. We will complete now to the next time. Thank you.